This week, we're going to talk about research methods, and I will give you a brief overview of research methods and assessment as they're used in organizational psychology. As we talked about IO being using the scientist practitioner model, this is the scientific side of it. So what does being scientific mean? Often, as a soft science, psychology gets put into a position of having to defend itself as being scientific. So we need to distinguish between science and non-science. What are some non-scientific ways of knowing things? For example, how do we know that the sun is yellow? We may base this on personal experience. How do we know that there will be 3 exams in this class? Perhaps I, as an authority, have told you this, but that is not a scientific way of knowing. How do you know when a close relative needs you? We base this more on intuition. How do you know that 1 + 1 is 2? Do we just have this knowledge? We also have knowledge that comes from values and norms of culture that might tell us we should be walking on the right side of the sidewalk. So how is scientific knowledge different? I'm going to give you some descriptors of what scientific knowledge is. It is logical and concerned with understanding. So, as I've mentioned before, we want to understand why relationships exist, not just to know that they do exist. It's empirical. We use data to test our hypotheses or our theories, and we rely on those observations of events instead of basing them on our intuition. Science is shared and rigorously evaluated. That means that any research that is conducted should be either written up or shared orally, maybe at a conference with others, and others critically analyze the research design to make a conclusion about the study results. As these are shared, they're shared in a way with details that provide information on how the study was conducted, with whom it was conducted, where it was conducted, and any measures that were used in the research are given in detail. Any results that are achieved in research should be objective in the sense that anyone should be able to conduct the same study with the same population and measures and be able to get the same results. Often this is where we find differences. Studies are conducted slightly differently, and those differences are new variables that we need to try to understand. Science is also probabilistic in the sense that we tend to disprove things rather than prove them. And as a result of this, all of our theories are tentative. They're open to change. If new evidence comes in and shows that we were wrong, we need to be open to the possibility that the theory needs to be changed. Now, this does not happen with one new study that finds different results. We look at the accumulation of research to look at the overall trend. Is it supportive of a theory or is it not? So what kind of goals does scientific research have? We may want to describe what something is. For example, performance. What is performance? In order to understand that, we may go about doing research that gives us detailed information about components of performance. We might find that performance of workers is not just the tasks that they perform, but also the things they do within the context of the work environment. For example, helping out a fellow worker. Science is sometimes interested in prediction. We want to be able to know ahead who will be a good worker. We want to know ahead what training program will be the best, or what training methods to use will be the most effective for our workers. Science also is used to explain. We want to explain a relationship. If we know there is a relationship between variable A and variable B, how is it related and why is it related? And sometimes we do research in order to make changes. For example, we may know that a work environment is toxic, that people are leaving because of the environment, because people are getting hurt, or there are numerous accusations from one worker to another. And we know changes need to be made. We do research to understand the situation so that we may be able to make changes and document those changes. The empirical research process has several steps to it. First, we need to state the problem. We need to understand the issue that we're interested in and state a hypothesis about that issue. We then design the research study. This includes both measurement variables and research design. This includes both the measurement of variables and research design. We collect the data, we analyze that data, and then we make interpretations.